Your soulmate is facing a difficult situation created by someone close. And they're shielding you. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. If these words found you today, don't ignore them. Sometimes life has a mysterious way of placing a message in front of us exactly when our heart is searching for answers it cannot explain. There is someone connected to your future in a way that neither of you fully understands yet. You may not know their name today. You may not know where they are, what they look like, or what they are doing at this very moment. But deep inside their world, something has changed. A difficult situation has quietly unfolded around them, created not by a stranger, but by someone they once trusted. It is the kind of situation that leaves a person questioning loyalty, wondering who truly stands beside them and who only remained close while everything felt easy. Yet through all of this, there is one remarkable thing your future soulmate keeps doing without even realizing how extraordinary it is. They are trying to protect a future they have not yet lived. They are shielding the person they believe they will someday love, and that person is you. There have been moments recently when your future soulmate felt surrounded by voices pulling them in different directions. Some people have offered advice that sounds reasonable on the surface but quietly leads away from peace. Others have tried to influence important decisions for reasons that benefit themselves more than anyone else. Someone very close to them has unknowingly, or perhaps knowingly, created confusion that has made every choice feel heavier than it should. Your future soulmate has spent sleepless nights wondering who they can truly trust. They smile during conversations, but when the room grows quiet and they are finally alone, they replay every word in their mind, searching for honesty hidden beneath appearances. They are learning a painful lesson that many people discover only after disappointment. Not everyone who stands near you is helping you move forward. Yet something remarkable is happening inside their heart. Instead of allowing bitterness to take root, they are becoming wiser. Instead of letting frustration turn them into someone cold, they are choosing patience. It has not been easy. There are days when they feel emotionally exhausted. There are moments when they wonder why life seems to become more complicated just when they are trying to move towards something better. They don't yet understand that every difficult choice they make today is quietly protecting the future they will one day build with you. If your future soulmate could somehow send you a message today, before your lives officially meet, they might begin with these words. I don't know your name yet, but somehow I already care about the life we might share one day. There are battles happening around me that I wish you never have to carry. There are conversations I hope never reach your heart because they belong to this chapter, not to our future. I don't know exactly where you're walking today, but I hope your path is peaceful. I hope you're becoming stronger without losing your kindness. And while I cannot protect you from everything life may bring, I can make sure the choices I make today don't create unnecessary pain for the life we'll someday build together. Those words may sound impossible coming from someone you haven't met, but love often begins long before two people ever shake hands. Sometimes it begins in the quiet decisions someone makes when nobody is watching. Your future soulmate is making those decisions now. The difficult situation surrounding them did not appear overnight. It grew slowly through misunderstandings, expectations, and relationships that gradually became unhealthy. Someone close to them began expecting control instead of respect. At first, the warning signs seemed small. Tiny comments disguised as concern. Gentle criticism that slowly became constant. Advice that quietly transformed into pressure. Your future soulmate kept hoping things would improve because they wanted to believe the best about someone they loved. They gave second chances. Then third chances. They remained patient even when patience became painful. But eventually, they realized that protecting someone else's comfort should never require sacrificing their own peace. That realization changed everything. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It happened during one ordinary evening when they found themselves sitting alone after another emotionally draining day. For the first time, they stopped asking, "How do I keep everyone happy?" and began asking, "What kind of future am I creating if I keep living this way?" That single question became the beginning of their transformation. They started noticing patterns they had ignored for years. They realized how often guilt had been used to influence their decisions. They recognized how fear had quietly replaced confidence. Most importantly, they understood that continuing down the same path would eventually affect not only their own happiness but also the happiness of the person they would one day love. Without knowing it, they were thinking about you. Not your face. Not your name. But your future together. Because somewhere inside them, there has always been a quiet belief that the life they are building today should become a safe place for someone else tomorrow. Your future soulmate has begun creating healthy boundaries. At first, people didn't understand. Some became offended. Others accused them of changing. A few even tried harder to pull them back into old patterns because change often makes unhealthy relationships uncomfortable. Those moments hurt more than your future soulmate expected. They never wanted conflict. They never wanted distance. They simply wanted honesty, respect, and peace. There were nights when they questioned themselves. What if I'm being too difficult? What if I'm making the wrong decision? What if protecting my peace costs me people I love? Every question weighed heavily on their heart. Yet every morning they woke with the same quiet conviction. Something had to change. And so they continued moving forward, one difficult decision at a time. The remarkable thing is that your future soulmate isn't fighting these battles out of anger. They are fighting them out of love. Love for the life they hope to build. Love for the family they dream of someday creating. Love for a relationship that hasn't begun yet but already matters deeply to them. They refuse to allow old wounds to become inherited pain. They don't want unresolved conflicts following them into tomorrow. They want to heal before they ask someone else to walk beside them. That is one of the reasons your paths have not crossed yet. Preparation is still taking place. Not because love has forgotten you, but because love is refusing to rush what deserves to be built carefully. Perhaps you've wondered why certain relationships in your own life ended unexpectedly. Perhaps you've questioned why people walked away just when you believed things were improving. Those moments may have felt like heartbreak, but they were also preparing your heart to recognize something healthier when it finally arrives. Your future soulmate is learning similar lessons from the opposite side of the story. Both of you are discovering that peace is more valuable than appearances. That honesty matters more than approval. That love without respect cannot survive. One day, you'll tell each other these stories. You'll laugh at some memories. You'll cry over others. But most importantly, you'll recognize that while you were growing separately, life was quietly teaching you the very lessons that would strengthen your relationship together. Your future soulmate wants you to know one final thing before this part of the message ends. I'm protecting something precious, even though I can't see it yet. Every difficult conversation I choose to have today, every unhealthy pattern I refuse to continue, every painful goodbye I have the courage to accept is my way of protecting the future we'll someday share. I don't want to meet you carrying bitterness that belongs to someone else. I want to meet you with a heart that has learned wisdom without losing compassion. If waiting a little longer means I can become that person, then every difficult step will be worth it. Until our paths finally meet, know that somewhere, someone you've never met is choosing healing instead of resentment, truth instead of comfort, and hope instead of fear, because deep inside, they believe someone extraordinary is worth preparing for. And perhaps that is the message your own heart needed today. Not fear about the obstacles surrounding your future soulmate, but hope that even in the middle of difficulty, they are choosing a path that protects the love they haven't found yet. Every challenge they overcome with integrity is becoming another strong foundation beneath the future the two of you will someday build together. Their present struggle is not the end of their story. It is quietly shaping the beginning of yours. The situation surrounding your future soulmate has become more complicated than anyone on the outside realizes. From a distance, everything appears normal. They continue showing up to work, answering messages, smiling during conversations, and fulfilling responsibilities as though nothing has changed. The people around them assume they are handling everything well because they have become remarkably good at carrying heavy emotions without allowing them to show. But behind every polite smile is a heart quietly searching for peace. Behind every calm conversation is a mind trying to untangle words that were never spoken with kindness. The person closest to them, the one who unknowingly created so much of this emotional confusion, still doesn't fully understand the weight of their actions. They continue believing they are protecting your future soulmate when, in reality, they are making it harder for them to become the person they truly want to be. Your future soulmate has spent countless nights asking themselves difficult questions. How do I honor someone I care about without allowing them to control the direction of my life? How do I choose peace without creating unnecessary pain? How do I protect the future I believe is waiting for me without hurting people who have always been part of my past? None of these questions have simple answers, and that is exactly why this season has felt so exhausting. Every decision seems to carry consequences. Every conversation feels as though it could either heal a relationship or deepen a misunderstanding. Yet even in the middle of that uncertainty, your future soulmate keeps returning to one quiet conviction: they cannot build a healthy future by continuing unhealthy patterns simply because they are familiar. There have been moments when they almost gave in. Moments when it seemed easier to stop fighting for their own peace and simply agree with everyone else's expectations. They almost convinced themselves that sacrificing their dreams would make life less complicated. But every time they came close to surrendering, something inside their heart reminded them that true love should never begin with pretending. If they spend years becoming someone they are not simply to keep others comfortable, how could they ever offer their authentic heart to the person they are meant to love? That realization has become their greatest source of courage. They are beginning to understand that every healthy boundary they establish today is actually a gift they are preparing for tomorrow's relationship. Every difficult conversation they refuse to avoid is teaching them how to communicate honestly. Every painful goodbye they are learning to accept is making room for the people who are truly meant to stay. If your future soulmate could write another page in this invisible letter, perhaps they would say, "I wish you knew how often I think about the life I haven't lived yet. I don't know your face, but somehow the thought of you gives me strength. Whenever I'm tempted to make a decision based on fear instead of wisdom, I pause and remember that someday another heart may depend on the choices I make today. I don't want to carry unresolved anger into our future. I don't want old wounds becoming new problems inside our home. I'm choosing healing now because I hope that when we finally meet, I'll be able to love you freely instead of asking you to repair the parts of me I refuse to face." Those words have quietly become the promise guiding your future soulmate through this difficult chapter. They are learning that emotional maturity is often developed in moments no one celebrates. It grows when someone chooses honesty instead of convenience. It grows when forgiveness is offered without denying the pain that caused it. It grows when courage whispers, "This conversation is necessary," even though fear keeps suggesting silence. Your future soulmate has begun choosing those difficult paths, not because they enjoy conflict, but because they have finally realized that temporary discomfort is often the price of lasting peace. The person creating this difficult situation doesn't necessarily see themselves as the problem. They may genuinely believe they know what is best. They may think they are protecting your future soulmate from making mistakes. But love that attempts to control eventually becomes a burden instead of a blessing. Your future soulmate has started recognizing the difference between guidance and manipulation, between support and pressure, between genuine care and emotional obligation. That awareness has opened their eyes in ways they never expected. It has also made them more compassionate because they understand that hurt people sometimes hurt others without realizing it. Rather than responding with bitterness, they are trying to respond with wisdom. Rather than seeking revenge, they are quietly choosing distance where distance becomes necessary. They understand that protecting their peace is not the same as rejecting someone else's value. Sometimes love simply means refusing to continue unhealthy cycles. As these changes unfold, your future soulmate notices something surprising happening inside them. The fear that once controlled many of their decisions is slowly losing its power. They are discovering confidence they never knew they possessed. They are beginning to trust their own judgment instead of constantly seeking approval. They are learning that saying no to what destroys peace is often the first step toward saying yes to the life they truly desire. Every small act of courage becomes another reminder that they are stronger than they believed. Every honest conversation leaves them feeling lighter, even when it doesn't end perfectly. Every choice made with integrity becomes another brick in the foundation of the future they hope to build with you. Perhaps you have been experiencing something similar without realizing it. Maybe life has also been teaching you the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and emotional honesty. Maybe you've had to walk away from situations that once felt impossible to leave. Maybe you've discovered that protecting your peace sometimes means disappointing people who expected unlimited access to your energy. If so, your story and your future soulmate's story are quietly reflecting each other. While neither of you knows it yet, both of you are becoming people who understand that lasting love requires courage long before it requires romance. One day, when your lives finally intersect, you'll both realize how many invisible battles had already been won before your first meeting. The strength you admire in one another won't have appeared overnight. It will have been forged during seasons like this one, when difficult decisions had to be made even though no one else understood them. You'll appreciate each other's honesty because you've both learned what dishonesty costs. You'll value peace because you've both experienced unnecessary conflict. You'll treasure trust because you've both known what it feels like when trust is broken. Your future soulmate believes that one of the greatest gifts they can someday offer you is a heart that has learned how to heal rather than hide. They don't want to bring constant suspicion into your relationship. They don't want unresolved bitterness poisoning joyful moments. They don't want fear making every disagreement feel like the end. They are doing the difficult work now so that when your paths finally cross, they can love you with openness instead of emotional exhaustion. That is why this challenging season matters more than they sometimes realize. It is not delaying their future. It is preparing it. Before this part of the letter closes, they want to leave you with another quiet promise. If I have to stand alone for a while in order to protect the life we're meant to build together, then I will. If I have to choose honesty over approval, I will. If I have to walk away from relationships that no longer bring peace, I will do it with compassion but also with courage. Because somewhere beyond everything I can see today is a future that feels worth protecting. I believe there is someone whose smile I haven't seen yet, whose laughter I haven't heard yet, whose heart I haven't held yet, but I already know they deserve the healthiest version of me I can become. Until we finally meet, I will keep choosing healing over resentment, wisdom over fear, and hope over despair. I will keep believing that every difficult decision I make today is another quiet act of love for the tomorrow we will someday share. And perhaps that is the hidden truth behind everything your future soulmate is facing right now. The difficult situation surrounding them is not simply testing their character, it is revealing it. Every challenge is showing them the kind of partner they want to become. Every obstacle is teaching them how to protect peace instead of chasing approval. And with every step they take through this season, they are quietly shielding not only themselves but also the beautiful future they hope one day to share with you. The more your future soulmate chooses peace over pressure, the more obvious the hidden conflict around them becomes. It is no longer just a disagreement or a temporary misunderstanding. It has become a season where every decision reveals who truly wants the best for them and who simply wants things to remain comfortable for themselves. There is someone very close to them who cannot understand why they have changed. They remember the version of your future soulmate who rarely questioned expectations, who quietly accepted every responsibility, and who placed everyone else's happiness ahead of their own. Now they are watching someone who has begun listening to their heart with new courage, and that change feels unfamiliar. Instead of celebrating their growth, they resist it. Instead of asking what has brought this transformation, they assume it is rebellion. Your future soulmate feels the weight of this misunderstanding every day. They never wanted to create distance. They only wanted to create peace. Yet they have learned that sometimes the people who benefited from your silence struggle the most when you finally find your voice. There have been evenings when they sat alone replaying conversations again and again, wondering if they could have chosen different words or a gentler approach. They questioned whether standing firm made them selfish. They wondered whether protecting their emotional well-being meant they were disappointing people they genuinely loved. Their heart has been caught between compassion and conviction. They understand the pain others may feel, but they also understand the quiet damage that comes from abandoning their own values. This internal battle has become exhausting. Some mornings they wake feeling determined, only to have doubt quietly return before the day is over. Yet every time uncertainty appears, something even stronger rises beside it, a calm reminder that the future they are protecting is worth every uncomfortable step. If they could send you another page of this invisible letter, it would probably begin like this. I wish you could see what I've learned during this season. I used to believe that keeping everyone happy was the same as living with love. Now I understand that love without honesty eventually becomes fear wearing a friendly face. I've realized that protecting my future sometimes requires disappointing people who only knew the older version of me. I don't enjoy these moments. I don't celebrate them. But every difficult choice reminds me that someday I want to stand beside you without carrying chains that should have been left behind long ago. Those words have become more than hope. They have become a quiet promise your future soulmate repeats whenever life feels uncertain. The person creating this difficult situation does not fully realize the impact of their influence. They may speak from fear instead of trust. They may believe that controlling outcomes is another way of showing care. Perhaps they worry about losing their place in your future soulmate's life. Perhaps they fear change because change often forces people to confront truths they would rather avoid. Your future soulmate has begun recognizing that not every painful action comes from cruelty. Sometimes it comes from unresolved fear. That understanding has softened their heart without weakening their boundaries. They no longer feel the need to respond with anger. Instead, they are learning the rare strength of remaining calm while refusing to abandon what is right. Every lesson they learn now is quietly shaping the partner they will someday become. They are discovering how to communicate without attacking. They are practicing patience without surrendering their dignity. They are learning that kindness does not require agreement and that respect does not require silence. These lessons are difficult because they cannot be learned from books alone. They must be lived through real conversations, real disappointments, and real moments when walking away becomes healthier than continuing an endless argument. Perhaps you have experienced something similar. Perhaps there have been people in your own life who loved the version of you that never challenged unhealthy expectations. Perhaps you've also felt guilty for choosing your own peace. If so, know that growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. Every healthy boundary can initially look like distance to someone who benefited from having none. That does not mean your decision was wrong. Sometimes healing requires creating space where constant pressure once existed. Your future soulmate has also begun praying for wisdom rather than easy answers. They no longer ask for every obstacle to disappear overnight. Instead, they ask for clarity. They ask for the courage to recognize truth even when truth is difficult. They ask for the patience to respond with grace rather than frustration. Most importantly, they ask that whatever future awaits them will be built on honesty instead of appearances. Without realizing it, those prayers are preparing a heart capable of loving deeply rather than simply loving easily. There are moments when they imagine the day they finally tell you about this chapter of their life. They imagine sitting beside you during a quiet evening, sharing stories that once felt too painful to revisit. They imagine admitting the fears they carried, the nights they questioned themselves, and the difficult choices that seemed impossible at the time. They picture you listening without judgment, not because you experienced the exact same events, but because you understand what it feels like to fight invisible battles. In that moment, they won't be looking for sympathy. They'll simply be grateful that they no longer have to carry those memories alone. They often wonder what your own journey has been like. Have you also learned to recognize the difference between genuine support and emotional pressure? Have you discovered that peace is worth protecting even when others misunderstand your reasons? Have you faced moments where choosing yourself felt strangely uncomfortable because you had spent so much of your life putting everyone else first? Somehow they believe your answers may be more similar to theirs than either of you expects. The remarkable thing about this season is that it has changed the way your future soulmate thinks about love itself. They no longer dream only about romance. They dream about partnership. They dream about two people who encourage each other to become healthier, not more dependent. They dream about conversations where difficult truths are spoken gently instead of avoided completely. They dream about building a home where honesty is never punished, where forgiveness is offered generously, and where respect remains even during disagreement. Those dreams have become more important than perfect circumstances because they now understand that peace inside a relationship is built through daily choices, not dramatic promises. Before this chapter closes, your future soulmate wants to leave one more message resting gently in your heart. If these words ever reach you, I hope they remind you that every difficult season has a purpose beyond what we can immediately see. Right now, I am choosing to face uncomfortable truths instead of pretending everything is fine. I am choosing healing over habits that no longer serve my future. I am choosing integrity over approval because I believe the person I'm meant to spend my life with deserves honesty from the very beginning. I don't know when we'll meet. I don't know how our stories will finally come together. But I know this: I want the first chapter of our relationship to begin with freedom, not unfinished pain. That is why I keep moving forward, even when the road feels lonely. Every conversation that teaches me courage, every boundary that protects my peace, and every lesson that strengthens my character is becoming part of the foundation beneath the life we will someday build together. Until that day arrives, I will continue believing that love worth having is also worth preparing for. And perhaps that is the quiet truth hidden beneath everything your future soulmate is experiencing. They are not merely surviving a difficult situation created by someone close to them. They are allowing this season to transform them into someone wiser, gentler, stronger, and more emotionally free. Every challenge they overcome is another invisible gift they are preparing to bring into your future together. Though neither of you can yet see how your paths will finally meet, each faithful decision they make today is drawing that moment one step closer, protecting not only their own heart but also the beautiful love story that is still waiting to unfold. As this season continues, your future soulmate is beginning to notice something they never expected. The difficult situation surrounding them is no longer only revealing the intentions of the people around them. It is revealing the incredible strength that has been quietly growing inside their own heart all along. For so long, they believed courage meant never feeling afraid. They believed strength meant carrying every burden alone without letting anyone see the weight they were holding. But this chapter has changed that understanding completely. They now realize that real courage is choosing what is right even when fear is whispering that it would be easier to stay silent. Real strength is protecting your peace without allowing bitterness to replace compassion. And that is exactly what they are learning, one difficult day at a time. The person closest to them continues creating moments of tension. Some days it happens through subtle comments that leave your future soulmate questioning themselves. Other days it comes through emotional pressure disguised as concern. There are conversations that begin peacefully but somehow always end with guilt resting heavily on their shoulders. At first, they thought these moments were simply misunderstandings. They believed that if they explained themselves more clearly, everything would return to normal. But after many attempts, they have finally accepted a painful truth. Some people cannot hear honesty while they are still listening through fear. That realization hurt more than they expected because they genuinely wanted peace without distance. Yet they have come to understand that peace cannot be built by sacrificing truth. The healthiest relationships grow stronger through honesty, not control. There have been nights when your future soulmate has walked outside simply to breathe. The quiet sky has become a place where they gather their thoughts before facing another day. They have looked at the stars and wondered how many people in the world are carrying invisible battles no one else notices. They have wondered if somewhere, someone they have never met is also looking toward the same sky while asking similar questions about love, purpose, and the future. Without realizing it, many of those thoughts have been reaching toward you. Not because they know your name, but because deep within them lives an unshakable belief that the life they are protecting will one day be shared with another heart. If they could place another letter into your hands tonight, perhaps it would read like this. I've learned something that I wish someone had taught me years ago. Peace is not found by avoiding difficult conversations. Peace is found by facing them with honesty and kindness. For a long time, I confused silence with harmony. I thought that if I never challenged unhealthy behavior, everyone would remain happy. But I was slowly disappearing inside that silence. I don't ever want to disappear again. And I don't want the person I someday love to feel they must disappear either. I want us to build a relationship where both of us can speak openly without fear of rejection. That dream has become worth protecting, even if protecting it requires difficult choices today. Those words are more than a reflection. They are becoming the foundation of the partner your future soulmate is preparing to be. As this journey continues, they are also discovering something unexpected about forgiveness. They once believed forgiveness meant pretending the hurt never happened. Now they understand that forgiveness means releasing the desire to live in constant resentment while still remembering the lessons that protect future peace. They are learning that it is possible to forgive someone without allowing the same unhealthy patterns to continue. That lesson has brought a surprising sense of freedom. Instead of carrying anger everywhere they go, they are carrying wisdom. Instead of allowing old wounds to define every new relationship, they are choosing to let healing become stronger than history. Perhaps this message reaches you during your own season of uncertainty. Maybe you have also been disappointed by someone you trusted deeply. Maybe you have questioned your own judgment after realizing that someone close to you did not have your best interests at heart. If so, your future soulmate would want you to know that healing does not happen because the past changes. Healing happens because your heart slowly learns that the future does not have to repeat the past. They are holding on to that truth every single day, and perhaps your own heart needs to hold on to it as well. There are quiet moments when your future soulmate imagines what it will feel like to finally stop carrying every burden alone. They imagine sitting beside you after a long day and simply telling the truth about how they feel without worrying that honesty will push you away. They imagine coming home to someone who listens with compassion instead of judgment. They imagine a relationship where difficult conversations are not feared because both people understand that love grows stronger when truth is welcomed rather than avoided. Those dreams have become deeply personal because they are no longer searching for temporary excitement. They are searching for lasting peace. The difficult situation they are facing has also changed the way they think about family, friendships, and commitment. They have realized that healthy love is never built through fear. It is built through trust. They have learned that loyalty cannot be demanded, it must be earned through consistent kindness and respect. They have discovered that the strongest relationships are not the ones where people never disagree. They are the ones where both hearts remain committed to understanding each other even when emotions run high. These lessons have cost them tears, sleepless nights, and moments of painful uncertainty, but they would not trade them now because they know those lessons will someday protect the relationship they build with you. Sometimes they quietly wonder if your own life has been preparing you in similar ways. Have you also learned that protecting your peace is not selfish? Have you discovered that saying no can sometimes be one of the most loving decisions you ever make? Have you realized that people who truly care about you will eventually respect healthy boundaries even if they struggle to understand them at first? If your answers are yes, then your stories are becoming more alike than either of you realizes. There is another truth your future soulmate has never spoken aloud to anyone. During the hardest moments of this season, they have occasionally imagined the person they will someday marry. They don't picture perfect appearances or dramatic movie scenes. Instead, they picture quiet evenings filled with safety. They picture someone whose presence makes the world feel lighter after a difficult day. They picture laughter returning after tears, encouragement replacing self-doubt, and two people choosing each other again and again through every season life brings. Whenever those thoughts appear, they find the strength to keep moving forward because they believe that future is still possible. Before this chapter comes to a close, your future soulmate wants to leave you with one more heartfelt message. If I could ask you for one thing before we ever meet, it would simply be this: don't let disappointment convince you that everyone will hurt you the way others have. Please keep your heart wise, but don't let it become closed. I know waiting can feel lonely because I'm living through my own waiting season too. I know what it feels like to wonder whether all this growth is leading somewhere meaningful. But deep inside, I believe it is. Every difficult conversation I've survived, every unhealthy cycle I've chosen to leave behind, every moment I've decided to protect my peace instead of chasing approval has been shaping me into someone capable of loving you well. I don't want to meet you carrying unresolved anger. I want to meet you carrying gratitude for every lesson that prepared us both. Until that day arrives, I will keep choosing integrity, even when no one notices. I will keep believing that every challenge is quietly strengthening the future we have not yet begun. And when we finally stand beside each other, I hope you'll see not only the person I became, but also the difficult journey that taught me how to love with patience, honesty, and unwavering commitment. So as this message settles into your heart, remember this: the difficult situation surrounding your future soulmate is not destroying their future. It is refining it. Every challenge is revealing greater wisdom. Every obstacle is strengthening their character. Every painful lesson is removing fear and replacing it with the kind of quiet confidence that lasting love requires. They may not know your name today, and you may not know theirs, but every faithful step they take through this season is bringing both of your stories closer to the beautiful moment when your paths finally become one, and everything that once felt confusing will begin to make perfect sense.